This is the what do I want to be, or where are you trying to go? So look at the list vertically, not horizontally. Look at that vertically. And yeah, there we go. You already got it in your mind. Take a picture if you want to take a picture of this. Here we go. You already got it in your mind. What do you want to be, or where do you want to go? Begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind, okay? So when you're talking about what you want to be, you got the unarmed security. If your end goal is armed security, follow that track. Concealed carry is just a different track if you want concealed carry, if you're interested in that, okay? We can talk about that too. Okay.
I want all of you.
Okay, I'm with you. You can get all of that here, okay? Here we go. So if you want to do armed security and that's just it, everybody's going to pass this class, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, here we go. So after you pass the unarmed security class, because everybody's going to pass, okay? Because we're not going to give up on ourselves, right?
Right.
Right. Good shit. All right, here we go. There are 2 things you have to do in order to be a security officer. 3 things in total. The unarmed security class, that's what you're in now, okay? The fingerprints. You have to be fingerprinted to get your perk card regardless of you being fingerprinted for any reason else. Let me explain. So when you are fingerprinted, you have to go to a licensed fingerprint vendor, okay? Somebody who's licensed by the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation. I am a licensed fingerprint vendor and a fingerprint vendor agency as well. I'll explain, okay? Here we go. The company is called Just the Tips Fingerprints. Don't need your palms, just the tips. It always causes problems. Here we go. Here we go. So that fingerprinting, when you get fingerprinted, the fingerprinting goes through the Illinois State Police. The Illinois State Police is a government law enforcement agency, which even though it's not for a criminal justice purpose, it is for a background purpose that involves criminal information, which triggers the 4th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Okay, the government cannot pry into your background unless they have a legal reason to do so. Okay, just because you've given another company permission does not mean that permission extends to all companies. Does that make sense? So every time you want a specific company to fingerprint you and check your background so that you can get approval for something, you have to give the state permission. How do you give the state permission? When you apply to get your fingerprints and you sign that you agree that these fingerprints get transmitted to the state police to see what's in your background and to the FBI and take those results and send it to the requesting agency. Does that make sense? So that explains why you can't use old fingerprints for a new reason, because there's a special purpose code that we put in that specifies the reason why you want to get fingerprinted. Does that make sense? Right. Okay, so you got to get fingerprinted. Okay, for the perk card, and I'll give you the prices later, okay, in a minute. For the perk card, in order for you to get your perk card, you got to get fingerprinted because that perk card is a fingerprint background check. Okay, now with that fingerprint background check, if you pass, when you pass, that card is a representation that the state has approved you with a background or without a background to work as a security officer. Now let me explain. There are persons with felonies who do have perk cards, okay? The Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation is one of the most forgiving state agencies so long as your background isn't as fresh and you don't pose a danger to the public because you're not carrying a gun. After all, this is what kind of security? Unarmed security, okay? So as long as, certain offenses, they take it on a case-by-case, person-by-person basis, okay? And if they look at your background and they request a hearing, then they're just going to talk to you. And I would strongly suggest, encourage that you be honest with them and talk about whatever happened, and then talk about what things you've done to rehabilitate yourself. I'm in school, Jesus Christ is the head of my life, or Allah or whomever you believe in, or no one, right? But I'm going to classes. I've learned to be a better person. I'm taking early childhood education classes. Does that make sense? Like, you're building yourself. You're learning and taking steps to be a better. That sounds better to society. You're a productive person to yourself.
To improve.
Yeah, you're trying to improve. You're a constructivist. You're learning as you're growing and learn. You see what I'm saying? And then if they like that, which for the most part they do, okay, your license could be put on probation. Probation isn't a bad thing. Probation just means, okay, we're going to give you this perk card. Keep doing great things. And then after that probation falls off, you won't never know it fell off because it'll just fall off because you living a good life. Does that make sense? Say yes?
Yeah.
Outstanding. Okay. So those are the three things: unarmed security class, fingerprints, perk card. Okay. Now, for the armed security class, still those same three things. Okay. You don't have to get re-fingerprinted for the armed. It's just fingerprinting one time for the perk card. Okay. And then there's the perk cards right there. So 2 more things you need for armed security, okay? First thing is the unarmed security. Second thing is the fingerprints. Third thing is the perk card. The fourth thing is the armed security class, okay? We teach the armed security class here. We also do the revolver and the semi-automatic. Before I used to only do semi-automatic, but people would have to come back to me to get their revolver. Why? Some companies, especially the ones that pay really, really good, like Rush Hospital, they only let you carry a revolver. So I was like, all right, let me just go on ahead and just start doing both within that class, okay? So with my armed security classes, you now get trained in the revolver and the semi-automatic, okay? So that's that. That's the fourth thing. And you will need to get your Illinois State Police issued firearms owner's identification card, your FOID card. Okay, so those are the 5 things you need: unarmed security, fingerprints, perk card, armed security class, and then the FOID card. You can pay for them individually or pay for them all together. It just depends on you. Okay.
I have a question. What if we already have some of those things that you're saying? We just pay for the stuff that we don't have?
Yep, pay for the stuff you don't have. And then that's it. Yep, simple stuff. Good shit. Okay.
How long do you get the perk card after the application?
Okay, that's a great question. So, the unarmed security certification, okay, when you complete this class, and everybody's going to pass, right?
Yes.
Outstanding. I'm sorry, that was a little response. Let's try this again. Here we go. Everybody going to pass, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so good. When everybody passes, okay, you will get your certificates tomorrow. Simple shit. Okay, 2 weeks. Okay. So your fingerprints, when you pay for those fingerprints, I'll give you the price shortly. Okay. I give you a sheet that has a transaction control number. That transaction control number has to be put in the perk card application. Okay. I will send you an email that has the link for how to apply for your own perk card. Okay. And I have a video teaching you how to do it. Simple stuff. Okay. So then you will do that. Why? Because you are the one that's going to need to have access to the portal, okay? Create your own username and password, stuff like that. Maintain that stuff because that's how you're going to renew your perk card. I strongly recommend that you keep access to that because when it's time to renew, you're going to be the one who's going to do the renewal in that process, in that portal, okay? Now, security is one of those professions that you could jump in and out of. You could be a nurse, a CNA, scientist, whatever you want to do. One of the things that I did when I was in law enforcement, I still kept renewing my perk card. I never let my perk card expire. Okay? All you got to do is just pay the $45 and then just keep renewing it. Okay? And if you got access to that perk card system, you'll still be able to do it. Okay? The armed security. Once you finish the armed security, you do not get a certificate right away. Why? Because the armed security certification has a 230 license number in it, which means you're going to fill out your part on the paperwork. I'm going to fill out my part on the paperwork, and I'm going to submit it to the Illinois Department of Financial Professional Regulation. They have within 6 to 8 weeks to approve and then give you that 230 number. Sometimes they're fast, sometimes they're slow, okay? But you give them an email address on that form. Look out for the email from the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, and that email will let you know that your armed security certificate is online and ready to be printed out. Okay? And I'll have videos and stuff like that that will teach you how to print that stuff out so that you can get your stuff. And be lucky, because years back, it wasn't digital, which means they sent it to your address. If you got it, you got it.
Takes a while.
If you lose it, guess what you would have to do back in years past? You would have to write them again or call them, let them know you need another one, pay the fee, and then they would mail it back out to you again. Be glad it's online. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that way you got to just go online and print it out. Okay? FOID card, you can fill out for your FOID card at www.ispfsb.com. I say again, www.I as in Illinois, S as in state, P as in police, F as in firearms, S as in shit. I forgot. Well, shit. Okay. Firearms safety, B as in bureau. ISPFSB.com. Okay, what was the website again? Oh, shit. Somebody was like ISBicecream.com. That is not what I said. Okay, here we go. ISPFSB.com. What was the website again? ISPFSB.com. Something like that. That's what it was. Okay, sure. All right.